Hi, I'm Avery. We have a special treat. Alexander, the King of Caid, has generously shared not one but 5 different signature shots with us, which is pretty cool, as well as some great commentary around them. So let's check it out.
Hello, fighting community. Under mounting pressure from my kingdom and from the sheer boredom of quarantine and COVID-19 land, I've decided to put together my 5 favorite shots. Now, these 5 shots are put together not because I'm trying to train every single person, but just so I can let people see the 5 shots that I enjoy throwing. And there's a few things I want to tell you about these before we go into it. First and foremost, I don't like doing videos like this because I know I study my opponents. I frequently go onto YouTube and watch as much video as I can of people that I plan on fighting in the near future to see if I can find a flaw in their style, or to see if I can find something that will fit and beat their style. So I usually don't do these, so I'm not going to put a ton of technical detail into these shots. I'm just going to show you the 5 that I like to throw. The second thing I will tell you is this is my Kung Fu. It might not fit your Kung Fu. There's many great brands of Kung Fu in the SCA. This one just happens to be mine. So if this doesn't apply to you, no problem. Don't take it. And the last thing I will tell you is you'll notice that my shots have quite a few mechanics in it about fakes and things. And the reason I have these particular shots is because I learned a long time ago that sometimes you're not just fighting the man and his skill in front of you. Sometimes you're fighting his ego. And it's been my experience that the best way to take an ego off the field is to embarrass him off the field. Now, I'm a believer that if you call a shot light or you tell me that the shot was no good, I'm not going to question you. My job is to keep hitting you until such time as you do take it good. So, with that being said, I have found that sometimes the best way to get somebody off the field who has their ego out there, rather than fighting with chivalry and honor, is to use a shot that they just cannot possibly call light. Something that embarrasses them. Something where the crowd might actually kill them with a "oh!" So, hopefully I present to you these 5 shots, and I'll get other people to present their 5 shots, and we can all learn from this experience. First shot I'm going to show you today is what we like to call the Loman Janko, named after Vasily Loman Janko. He's the amazing boxer with the matrix-like footwork. If you haven't seen him, you need to go on YouTube and look it up. In studying his footwork, we found a couple of things that worked for us. So in a right foot forward stance, this shot you first start out in your normal fighting stance, and it's a simple thrust to the face. Don't throw this with a lot of speed. You're actually just going to throw it just hard enough to kill somebody, but what you're looking for is them to bring their shield forward. Once the thrust lands on their face, they're dead obviously, but if it catches their shield, this is what you want. At that point, you will now pivot your feet across and do what we call a shuffle move. Left foot takes the spot of your right foot, and then you will throw a backside wrap because their shield will be coming down at this point, and they won't be able to see the second shot coming in if it's thrown fast enough. So the first shot is thrown relatively slow, the second one faster. So at speed it is tap, pop. Shot number 1. Shot number 2, working off the same boxing principles that we use from the Lomachenko, comes from the same forward fighting stance. Throwing out your jab, for lack of a better term, to freeze your opponent. In doing that, when they get used to this shot coming in, they get used to blocking up there. So we throw what we call a freezing shot. This time, rather than hitting, you just freeze the shot. You will then roll into a Molinet to their rib side, but if you watch my feet move when we throw this, you're going to switch feet to get this outside shot. So again, at speed, you can still do this if you're trying to close with your opponent, if you want to get closer just by stepping with your left foot forward. Either way you throw that, you're getting to their offside, where their shield's difficult to come across. And you'll notice when my feet have finished on the shot, I can now transition back the other way if they've brought their shield across. Shot number 2. Shot number 3, again, you start in your basic stance, and I like to throw out that freezing shot again, but at the maximum of my range, so it almost looks like a thrust. I'm letting them see the tip of my sword. I want them to get used to this. Once I've thrown a couple of those, I will now let my tip ease out as if I'm going to thrust, and I will throw it in a downward position, almost aiming at their leg. Traditionally, this brings their shield down and across their body. When that happens, you'll notice I pivot my toes at that point, and then kick across to the back side. This moves, the first shot again is rather slow. You're drawing them to where you want them to be. The second shot is much faster. Shot number 3. Shot number 4 is for when I've engaged and I'm in closer range. Not quite one range, not necessarily on top of somebody, but just in the tighter 2 range areas. Fighting in a squared up position with my sword here, I want them to see this sword movement. So you'll notice that my sword is being flicked high. I want them to lose the tip of my sword from their vision. So as we flick it high, we then reverse the shot and bring the back blade back. I personally like to actually hop to that side because it turns my body this direction and allows me to come back the other way at the same time. If they turn towards me. Shot number 4. Shot number 5 is what we like to call a rising snap. It's one of my favorite shots. When you're closing to somebody and you're in tight with them at this range here, dipping your body, hips, and knees this direction so they see your sword drop, makes it look as if we're firing for this leg shot. But we will now simply drive the sword across with a short stick. You'll notice it's just a flinch, a very quick twist of the shoulders and the knees. For newer opponents, you have to slow that down. They don't catch the twist. For your higher skilled opponents, it has to be faster, just a twitch of your shoulders and a slight drop of the knees. So again, here, bang. Just make the sword look like it's coming that direction and fire across. I try to keep my eyes down when I throw it so they don't see me looking up at the target at the head. Shot number 5.